am OVW official Josh Ashcraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at Triple Threat Talk. I'm Dean Hill.
This is Ricky Chevy, and I'm the blue-collar millionaire.
I'm Mr. Peck. God, that's great every time. Spectacular.
We're the Bronis Brothers.
I am the One Girl Revolution, Taylor Hendricks.
This is Brandon Espinoza.
I'm the Assassin.
I'm Bruno Raul Limata.
I'm James Moose Thomas.
I'm Shiloh Jones. My name is Ron Head. I'm the announcer for OVW. I'm Jamin Olivencia.
I'm Alex Silva. I'm Rocco Bellagio.
I'm Kerry Bodie, the Ohio Valley Wrestling fan advocate.
Raphael Constantine.
I'm Rand Perez. My name's Muhammad Ali. Baez.
I'm Paradise.
This is Jack Black.
This is Ohio Valley Wrestling referee Chris Sharp.
This is Sexy Sean Casey. I'm Chris Silvio.
This is Michael Hayes. This is Jason Wayne.
You're watching Triple Threat Talk.
And welcome everyone to episode 56 of Triple Threat Talk. Well, let's see. He's here this week, so next week he won't be here, right? Yeah, we're kind of hitting that. No, he'll be here the week. That week will be the week after. Oh, okay. That's the pattern.
I'm sorry, it's in my contract. I'm only out here 2 weeks.
What contract? What contract? What contract? I gave you a box of Oreos and said, "You want to do this?" You said, "Sure, why not?"
I know, so I make my own rules. You haven't gave me a box in a while, so until you get back on your giving me the box of Oreos, then that's just how it's gonna be.
So as you can see, Big B's wearing the same shirt he always does, and Jimmy's wearing a pretty cool shirt. I'm wearing a commemorative shirt.
Hey, there you go.
I had to bring it up because I know you two guys didn't notice, but it's my World Series of Poker shirt that I played in almost 4 years ago to the day. So definitely wanted to talk about that for a minute.
As Big B says.
Drinking Pepsi Max and Kroger drinking water today. Yeah, water. Better than soda. So we'll take it to PostMaster for
User questions. Right.
Yes. From
Chanel 7242.
Channel. I think it's Channel.
I know, but I like Chanel 72. What is your top 5 favorite feuds of all time? I can name one right now.
Michael's Taker.
I can name one right now.
What about Brett and Sean?
Probably the most epic feud of all time.
Steve on Rock.
No.
Stephen McMahon.
No.
What?
The Hatfields and McCoys.
Oh.
He didn't specify. He said feud. See? So
I think he meant.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, they're billing the Cena and Rock feud as number 25 all the time, really. Really? What was the feud? Rock was there for like 5 seconds and then, oh, I'll never leave again. Where'd The Rock go? I don't know.
By the way, The Rock is now the number 5 highest paid actor in Hollywood.
I believe it. Woo.
Just a tip.
Go Tooth Fairy. He'll be a billionaire before he's dead. Tooth Fairy.
Probably so. Also from Chanel 7242. Who's the best tag team ever?
I always had a thing for these three guys. DX, the Legion of Doom, and my favorite of all time, including DX, is Demolition. Alright, Postmaster, want to do it at the same time?
1, 2, 3.
Best team ever! Okay. But my favorite team is probably Legion of Doom.
LOD. I kind of like LOD. I was always a big proponent of the Hart Foundation. They were one of my favorite tag teams. And I like the Rockers too. Before Shawn Michaels was Shawn Michaels, the Rockers were pretty epic.
They were decent.
Yeah, you know. So.
They won the tag team titles for one night.
Yep, one night.
One night. One night.
From the FWA Owner 22. Who do you think is the greatest pocket passing quarterback of all time?
You guys want to do this one at the same time? Sure.
Unos, dos, 3. Peyton Manning.
Hang on.
Also from the FWA Owner 22.
Short and sweet to the point.
What are WWE's top 10 biggest mistakes in their history?
You want 10? We could probably do a full series of shows.
We could do a whole show. What?
Not for FWA Owner.
Oh, I'm sorry. Against All Odds 20. Excuse me.
Well, I think we all agree. Letting go of John Morrison.
Montreal Screwjob.
Montreal Screwjob.
Not so much as the incident in itself, but the way it was handled is the mistake. Yeah, John Morrison's up there. I think bringing back ECW was a mistake because it wasn't what ECW was. It just was their brand. It
wasn't ECW. It was
WWECW.
It was dissolving the McMahon coming out and just saying that the era of the NWO was over instead of that progressing. The dissolving of the Nexus.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
I did not get that.
Nexus should have gone a lot longer. Another one I'll say, it's not so much as a mistake for this certain reason, for this certain person, only because there's some times where someone will come back in WWE that's been gone for so long and they don't really hype it up enough as they should. One person that comes to mind is Christian. When Christian came back to WWE after he was in TNA, he came back to ECW when it was WCW, and he comes back after being gone for so long, and the announcer's like, oh, it's Christian. Like, oh, who cares?
Yeah. They've done a lot over the years. I mean, they have done some silly stuff, and definitely.
Oh, another big mistake, and probably the biggest gargantuan mistake they've ever made is
Big Show.
No, I was going to say that. I was going to say two words, and there are two words that are kind of hard to say because people cringe when you hear those two words.
Don't say it.
What am I going to say?
Don't say it.
What am I going to say?
I'm not going to say it, but if you don't say it.
What am I going to say?
Come on, we're on the air here.
Katie Vick.
Big B, Cody hasn't won a match in months. They push him to the world title now. Do you think people will be able to take him seriously as a main eventer?
I never took him seriously.
I never took him seriously.
He was always a third-rate riding on his daddy's coattails. Didn't belong where he is anywhere now. So
come on, keep coming.
Why start?
I'm actually not gonna answer this question right now.
Oh my God! No, you answer it. Answer it.
Let's see if he gives you a good reason. If he doesn't give a good reason,
the reason I'm not going to answer is because it's in my preview. It's in my not preview. My review of SmackDown. Why? I'll answer this question in our SmackDown review.
Okay.
I will bring it back up.
That's acceptable.
God. From John RKO Cena 14. Since you called yourself
fucking five.
Come on, man. You've been gone for a week and you don't know how to do that.
Since you called yourself nerds. Wait a minute. What are your favorite anime of all time?
Anime. I always liked the box would be better. I always liked Dragon Ball Z. I think some of the newer, the X-Men anime is really good. Same thing with the Iron Man anime. Transformers, obviously. Transformers, pretty good. So, how about you, Big B?
I like Ghost in the Shell. That's a good one. There's also a manga out there. I like to read that too. I don't know if Pokemon counts as an anime. I think everyone wants that.
Pokemon counts as a disaster.
Oh no. Pokemon. I did like Naruto when it first started, and then it's gotten kind of like stupid, so I didn't like it. But
it's the worst type of gateway anime.
I mean, when it first came out, I liked it a little bit, and then it started just getting off. You know. Bleh.
I tell you another good one, Death Note.
I'll tell you one that I like right now. It's on Cartoon Network on Toonami on Saturdays at midnight. It's called Dead Man Wonderland. It's very good. Very good art. I can't find the manga anywhere. I'm still looking for it. It's very, very good story. Very, very good animation. It's excellent.
I don't really watch anime, but if I had to pick a cartoon. I'd say the Flintstones is the greatest cartoon ever made.
We pick all these Japanese cartoons. He's like, I like the Flintstones.
That's right.
What about the Jetsons?
They're alright too.
What about Tom and Jerry?
And Tom and Jerry's epic. Yeah, Tom and Jerry's epic.
Alright, moving on.
Also from the Buck and Five. What movie disappointed you the most, either by not living up to the hype or how you thought it would be?
That's a good question.
I think I answered it already when we answered what's the worst movie you ever saw. Probably Waterworld. It was hyped up so much. There was a huge budget for it, and it was a stupid premise. There were stupid things in the movie, like Kevin Costner drinking his own urine, And just the whole premise of a whole world underwater was really stupid, and it didn't make. It was the budget was like $200+ million, and it barely made that at the box office.
I think Spider-Man 3 really was.
Oh my god! I'm tired of hearing this from people.
Spider-Man 3, it was more of a love story than anything. They totally screwed up. They got certain aspects of Venom correct, like how it was how the symbiote was transferred from Parker to Brock. That was straight out of the comic books. Of course, the sound thing and his addiction to 50s kind of music were all true. But you can't have a story about Venom without Carnage. I mean, Carnage never broke. I know it started off as Venom, but the logical place for this movie to go that just came out was to Carnage. And of course, the new director said that his whole reason for the reboot, as I said last week, was because he totally screwed up Venom. So he plans on doing a Venom and a Carnage. So
I want to give you a pat on the back for that, only because you're one of the few people that when they explain why they don't like Spider-Man 3, they didn't mention, because he turned emo and started dancing. I mean, that's obvious, but everyone mentions that's why they don't like it. That's not a reason not to like it.
No, it's
stupid. It's a dumb reason that's in the movie, but that's not a reason not to like the movie. What he explained is perfectly why Spider-Man 3 was not as good as the previous two.
Yeah.
So
I would have to say the new version of King Kong was pretty bad. I'm not with Jack Black. It was another one.
Blackjack.
That was very hyped. A lot of budget went into it. It was it was highly.
I did like how they animated the gorilla though. It was good.
Other than that, it just wasn't. It was overly done.
I mean, have you seen the original, like the old one, like the 1920s or whatever?
Well, those are epic.
Well, maybe have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
From the CAW interviewer, who are you most inspired by? And I'm sure Big B will say Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes inspires him to do everything.
Oh, Cody.
Oh, Cody.
Go ahead. You got any more?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You got any more?
Go ahead.
You got any more?
No, go ahead.
Go.
Can I go?
Yeah.
We've been waiting.
We've been waiting. You're taking up airtime.
I know.
Okay.
Making sure no one's going to jump and say, oh!
Go ahead.
Okay. What am I most inspired by? Come back to me.
I knew that's what you were doing, by the way. You were stalling.
Yeah, come back.
I had to say Jesus, obviously. I mean, it's always the correct answer, but besides the obvious answer, I guess. It's not the wrong answer. Besides the obvious answers, I think, the great sportscasters of our time, Chris Berman and locally Lachlan McLean, Bob Costas. I mean, and then some of the wrestlers, that tell us, that we're pretty good at what we do. Michael Hayes, obviously, is he's a big inspiration. Jason Wayne, Ali Baez, Shawn Michaels. I mean, if he can beat drugs and addiction, then I think most people can. I mean, definitely some good things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who else. He's not from my team, but Ray Lewis. I mean, somebody as full of heart as Ray Lewis.
So you're inspired by murder.
Really? But
speaking the truth,
the truth. He's like one of those people, though, that when you see him work out, he works out to the point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
When he's on the field, it's all business. It's all business. He's a beast.
Big B, are you relocked and reloaded?
Yeah, you go.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Go. Let him go last.
All right. My most inspired would have to be my mom and dad.
Okay. You took one of mine. My dad is one of them. Another one, it's because
I said besides the obvious.
Oh.
When I said Jesus.
Well,
besides the obvious.
Well, I was going to say one besides my obvious.
You didn't say it, though.
Well, my dad's one of them. That's the obvious. But the other one for me, you probably don't know who this is. Leighton Hewitt, professional tennis player from Australia.
Yes, I know who Leighton
Okay. I just like the way he played on the court. He was so exuberant and he's so passionate about his sport. He really worked hard. He really worked hard on the court. That's kind of how I try to play. I mean, never give up on the court. Give it all you got, and obviously throw everything you can out there. So.
I thought he'd be inspired by Cody Rhodes' massages.
I know you weren't done.
So, because,
you weren't done.
I figured that
I know you weren't done.
he wished he could aspire to be that one day. He could be the one in the back giving him rub downs after matches.
Happy endings.
Wiping the sweat off of his brow and all that good stuff.
This is why we don't get anywhere.
Alright. Well, since Postmaster took a little bit of a leave of absence, you get this week's Viewer of the Week.
Alright, so this week, the Viewer of the Week will go to none other, since we apparently had a pretty good discussion about this, and it made us laugh because of the question. Against all odds 20 with your Cody Rhodes.
I haven't answered it yet, so.
Even if it still got a rise out of me and the doctor. So, against all odds 20, you are this week's episode 56
Viewer of the Week.
So, with that, before we get into headlines, we'll be right back.
Dad, where'd you get that?
Oh, you won't believe what just happened.
Don't tell me you got the last Diet Dew.
Yeah.
I love the taste of Diet Dew. What do you want for it? Deal.
Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, it tastes that good.
Hey, Hotshot. Meter's running.
We are back with headlines today. Headlines. It's my music. Yeah. It's headlines.
No.
That's his thing.
Headlines.
Big B.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I know. I need to.
Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Oh, here we go with the blind tango. The blind hula hooping.
So, for the third and last week in a row, we will be going to Big B first for the Wimbledon wrap-up.
Not last week.
Next week.
Next week will be last week.
Yeah.
You got one more week
For the third and one more week.
I mean, I really can't go over everything that happened.
because there are only 8 matches.
Well,
so
I mean, obviously I can, obviously Nadal's out. He got upset by Lucas Rosal from the Czech Republic. That was probably one of the hugest upset ever in the sport. I'm not going to go over everything because it would just take me too long. Pretty much I'm just going to preview the women's final and the men's semis and their final also. Women's final, Serena Williams, she beat Victoria Azarenka. I'll say this though, I kind of get where they're going for the WTA, where they're trying to get down on the grunting, like the grunts on the court. Yeah, like that. But that's enough, thank you. But I kind of get where they're coming from. They're talking about getting like a meter on the court where the line judge, the chair umpire can, judge how loud, if it's disrupting play, can...
Go ahead, we're just...
Disrupting play.
Exactly, disrupting play.
Yeah, exactly. Her grunt is annoying. I couldn't take it, but they can, so that's their thing.
That's what she said.
But Serena Williams is through to her Wimbledon final, going for a 5th title, trying to tie her sister, Venus, and she's going to face... Victoria Aggie Radwanska, who, if she wins on Saturday, she'll be the new #1 player since Maria Sharapova lost early to Sabine Lisicki. So that's good for Radwanska. It's going to be tough only because this is her first Grand Slam final ever, and she doesn't have a really good record against Serena. Serena's playing really well. Her serve is working, so I think Serena's probably going to win this one, win her 5th Wimbledon title. I mean, stranger things happen, but I do like Serena in this matchup. As far as the men's semis go, the men's semis are on Friday morning at 8 o'clock. This will already be up by the time this is over, so you're going to have the final by the time this airs. It's going to be an intense matchup. The matchup we all thought we'd see, Federer and Djokovic in the semifinal. Federer and Djokovic have played. This will be the 11th meeting. They're 5 apiece. They've never been on grass before, so it should be an intense matchup. Djokovic is the defending Wimbledon champion. Federer going for a 7th trophy, trying to tie Pete Sampras, become #1 again. I mean, Djokovic is playing outstanding tennis. There's no denying that. But I do like Federer in this one. I do see Federer rising to the occasion and taking out Djokovic. It's the first time on grass. This is Federer's house. I think Federer's going to take care of business against Djokovic. And then the match that I guarantee you is going to be one of the hardest tickets to get ever in Wimbledon. Andy Murray. He's made the semifinals the last couple of years, and he's always run into Rafa Nadal. It's going to be tough because Saga's no pushover. Saga's been serving really well, but so much pressure's on Andy Murray to get to the final. There hasn't been a British guy in the final since 1938. So
Joe Wilford. Song.
Thank you. But I think Murray's playing very well. He played up against David Ferrer in the quarters, so I think he's going to play really well. I do like to see him beat Tsonga, possibly in 4 or 5 sets. It's going to be a battle. So Federer and Murray in the finals on Sunday. And as much as I want Murray to win so bad, I just don't think he's going to have it in him. I think Federer's going to win his 7th Wimbledon title.
Murray's my favorite.
I think it's going to be awesome, but I just think the pressure of Murray getting to the final for the first time since 1938, having to play Federer, every Grand Slam final he's been in, he has lost. So it's going to be a ton of pressure for him to get there. First of all, Tsonga, like I said, Tsonga's no pushover. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I do predict Federer and Murray in the final. So.
All right. Well, thank you for that. A couple trades in the NBA to talk about. Jason Kidd to the Knicks.
Bye-bye, Jeremy Lin.
Ray Allen was visiting the Magic. He is keeping the Celtics waiting. And Steve Nash, the big one, going to the Lakers.
Failed.
And he did say Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin is exploring other teams.
You know what's really
LA is
weird? You know what's weird that one team is actually wanting him and actually pursuing him?
Who's that?
The team that released him, the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
Does that make any sense? Oh, we didn't want you. Oh, wait. Now we saw you actually were epic in New York. Oh, we're going to watch you back. Oh, okay.
Postmaster, tell us who won the Quaker State 400.
That would be.
Well, let's say you were there.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
Cheese. See, you jumped.
What kind of cheese?
Wait, I said G's. G's.
Clean that out of your ears.
So, Bad Brad Keselowski. He's won there several times, including last year in the Nationwide Series race at Kentucky. Going into this year, I was, as you said, in attendance, and it was hot.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how was the atmosphere there? Was there a lot of people there?
Oh, there was a lot of people. There was well over 100,000 people there.
Wow.
So they had a good crowd, even though the heat was pretty there. Friday, we went Friday and Saturday. Friday, there was a pretty hellacious windstorm that blew through the area.
Yeah.
It was like 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Rain, thunder.
It never rained. We got lucky. But it cooled everything down. And Friday evening was absolutely amazing. The race was pretty good. Austin Dillon led.
The guy knows commercials.
What's that?
The guy knows the commercials, right?
Yes. Yes.
So right where you are, Austin.
Austin Dillon, in a 200-lap race, leads 192 laps.
Wow.
And wins by almost 10 seconds.
Wow.
Absolute domination. But wait!
There's more.
During post-race inspection... And I had a feeling, I was like, wait a minute.
There's no way.
I'm like, I watched racing for years. This guy leads every lap but 8. He wins by almost 10 seconds. Something's a little fishy.
Inspect that car.
So the car is found to be too low.
Oh,
crap.
In post-race inspection. Although, according to a lot of the pundits and experts, being too low actually does not help.
Does not help.
Right.
I can tell you that.
Too high to help.
Yeah.
Too low, the reason why too low won't help, because the way the cars are designed now, the cars are made kind of like this. And what I mean is, the back is jacked up, and the front is planted so far to the ground that a lot of times the splitter bangs the track. But, because of height regulations, you still have to be penalized. So this is the second infraction by Richard Childress Racing for the same reason.
Is this Austin Dillon's first offense?
First offense.
Did they make him not lose? Did they DQ him?
They do not in NASCAR. That's one thing they do not do. They don't take the win away.
Okay.
They do not do that because they want a clear-cut winner. They want a winner.
So what do they do to him?
So they fined him, his crew chief, $10,000.
Which Richard Childress Racing will cover.
And he was fined 6 owner and driver points.
Wow.
Which, when you only get 43, is kind of a lot, because the 43 is the max you can get when you win.
Right.
So it dropped him out of first place points standings down to second, so Elliott Sadler reassumes the points lead.
That's such crap. If it's too low.
But rules are rules. Doctor, rules are rules. So that happened on Friday, and then on Saturday, at the Quake Estate, I was fortunate enough to meet a couple of the NASCAR stars, as it were. Talked to them, didn't get any on-camera film. These guys are busy. It was hot. They wanted to get inside, but spoke with Bobby Labonte and Denny Hamlin. Bobby Labonte, of course, a past champion. Denny Hamlin, you know, very good up-and-coming star, and I'm going to get into him in a minute. He's got a bit of an issue himself going on. But anyway, the race, about 30 laps into the race, I kind of got a little disinterested. My man Smoke had a fuel injection issue, and EFI, his second EFI issue of the season. He did finish about 36 laps down in 32nd place position. But your winner in all this, Bad Brad Keselowski, his season high 3rd win. He's the only person to reach 3 wins so far this season.
Now, yes. I want to ask you.
Sure.
You said like in 30 laps and you got disinterested. Does that affect the race for you? Like enjoying the race and stuff? If for not just for NASCAR, but in any sport, if your team or your guy isn't performing as well as you'd hope to be, do you get disinterested?
Well, I got somewhat disinterested. Right. So I started doing other things to keep me interested. Right. Like I would follow stuff like other storylines that I knew was going on throughout the race to keep me interested. Like, you know, I'm not going to completely disembed. Like, I actually saw people get up and leave when that happened. Right. Like, I'm leaving. I'm like, really? You paid all this money and you're going to leave? Exactly. Like, I was going to stay regardless. I mean, that's not the point. But, so Keselowski wins. Casey Kane, if there was a caution flag or about another 10 laps, Keselowski was cooked. He was absolutely flying. He finished 2nd. It wasn't a bad race. We had a couple accidents.
There was like no passing.
There wasn't a lot of passing. The track is very rough, old. There's a lot of bumps in the track. But they are at probably my favorite track, Daytona this week.
Subway Jalapeno.
The Subway Jalapeno 250 for the Nationwide Series will be tonight. Because it's airing tomorrow. Will be tonight. And then the Coke Zero 400 for the Cup guys will be on Saturday. One thing about Denny Hamlin, I was going to get to that. He is experiencing back problems. He actually has a tear in his disc. Ouch. And he had to have needles injected into his spine earlier today. I know.
That's a lovely thing.
So he set out practice today. Kyle Busch actually practiced the number 11 FedEx Toyota for a couple laps. And he actually is not going to run the Nationwide race. Clint Boyer from Michael Waltrip Racing is actually going to step in and fill in for Denny Hamlin tomorrow in the Nationwide race. But as we know, Daytona is one of the wild cards. You never know what's going to happen, especially with these new rule changes to limit that tandem racing. We saw how it affected Daytona earlier this year. Now you're getting in the heat of summer. The water temperature's already in practice. I was watching practice earlier this evening. High water temperatures, a lot going on with that. But it should be an exciting race, and I can't wait to check that out. And speaking of going fast, now we're going to go fast, but in a straight line. And that's straight to the doctor with a little NHRA.
NHRA, Antoine Brown takes top fuel. Erica Enders becomes the first female to win a pro stock race. And Jeff Allred extends Team Force's drought by taking Funny Car after winning the first few races of the season. Team Force is pretty much kind of dried up there. So we're going to definitely keep our eyes on that. We got the MLB All-Star break coming up. Joey Votto and the National League taking on the AL. The AL East, by the way, is the #1 league in the #1 conference in the league right now. Every team in the East is over 500. Over 500. That is pretty good. Ridiculous. Pretty good. The Mets, of course, in there. The Mets, the Yankees.
Mets in the NL.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The Orioles, Yankees,
Red Sox,
Red Sox, Rays, Pittsburgh, or
Blue Jays.
Philadelphia and Blue Jays. Yeah.
Philadelphia is in the NL East.
They are in the. I'm getting my.
And the Pirates are in the NL Central.
NL Central. So definitely, definitely some things going on with that. At least I'm not announcing our viewers' names wrong with their questions. That's
the All-Star Weekend should be good. Obviously, Monday's the Home Run Derby. That's always exciting to watch. Hearing Chris Berman go back. It's always exciting to watch that.
Like a duck.
Well, that's what he sounds like. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Chris Berman. That's what he sounds like. But Robinson Cano, he won last year. He's back in this year to defend his championship. Should be interesting. See what happens with the Home Run Derby. I'm definitely going to be tuned in, flipping back and forth between Raw and the Home Run Derby. It's always exciting to watch.
And then a debate that we'll talk about. before we get into the rest of the headlines here, debate that we'll talk about is the manager of the National League. Do you guys think they made the right choice in bringing back the St. Louis Cardinals?
Tony La Russa?
Tony La Russa.
No, I don't like. I don't like.
You don't like that?
I don't like the fact of what Dusty Baker did to prevent Johnny Cueto from being in the All-Star game.
And we'll talk about that after the break.
Hello.
Hey, come check this out. Tennis player.
Swiss tennis player.
Lindor Truffles. When its smooth center starts to melt, so will you.
We're gonna have to confiscate these.
Why is that?
It's a new policy. No chocolate balls.
Okay.
I think we should do a strip search too.
Excuse me?
It's protocol.
Are you kidding me?
Alright, so Tony La Russa.
And welcome back, by the way.
Well done. Tony La Russa won, of course, the World Series last year with the St. Louis Cardinals. This is the first time ever. This is why this was a debate. This is the first time ever that somebody has won the World Series and then retired, and now, of course, he's being asked to coach the All-Star game because, as you all say, you know, it's his right to. Do you guys agree with it? An inactive manager in the league.
I mean,
this was a huge deal this week.
It's a very odd situation because, as you said, it's the first time it's ever happened. But as you said earlier, rules are rules.
Rules are rules.
So La Russa won the World Series last year with the St. Louis Cardinals. He said, "I'm going to bow out on my own terms on a high note. I won the championship. I'm going to retire." But the rules are, if you win the World Series, you get to coach in the All-Star game. Point in case. Say the Yankees win the World Series year, and Joe Girardi says, I don't want to play. I don't want to coach anymore. He's the manager next year for the All-Star game for the that's just how it works. So there was all this situation about Cueto pitching, and he's not in because of the squabble between the Reds and the Cardinals. Basically, La Russa said there's nothing like that at all. I'm very shocked at Dusty Baker's accusations. Cueto was pitching that Sunday, so that's why he's not in the All-Star game on Tuesday. So I think it's fine. La Russa's in the game.
Here's the thing: when it comes down to this, I do think rules are rules. But here's the thing: when you talk about the Reds and the Cardinals have probably the most hatred for each other outside of the Red Sox.
They're not sending Christmas cards.
So I think that each year the National League is automatically at a disadvantage because of that. When it comes down to the All-Stars, when they talk about this kind of thing with each other, it always amazes me how, you know, Dusty Baker, like you said, pulled Cueto so that he pitches that Sunday, so Tony La Russa can't use him.
Right.
But here's the thing: the Reds had 5 or 6 players that could have made it to the All-Star game this year, led, of course, by Joey Votto, who's the highlight of the entire NL roster this year. It's one of those things that really kind of, it rubs you the wrong way. It really does, because you want these guys to be this good, because I mean, there's been a couple of years where the Reds have been really good and they made it to the playoffs, but they didn't get 5 or 6 players in. They never even thought about it.
Right.
But now this year, from the Rangers had 8.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, and you get
and they got pounded the other day, but the White Sox
they got pounded.
19
popularity voter.
But it's one of those things where, I mean, Joey Votto definitely deserves to be. No one, I will stand, but no one deserves to be at this All-Star game more than Joey Votto. You can maybe make an argument for Chipper Jones, like we were talking about during the break.
Last season, yes.
But
I go with my guy. I mean, obviously, he should. If he wasn't going to throw a fit, R.A. Dickey.
R.A. Dickey,
the best pitcher in the NL right now. I'm sorry.
Well,
he's pitching. He back-to-back one-hitters, 12-1 in the NL.
Cozart and Cueto.
I know, but Dickey is a knuckleballer.
Cozart is a shortstop.
Why did I say Cozart?
I don't know. A knuckleballer at his age.
I was like, Zach Cozart is a shortstop.
When you see the camera, I caught myself as soon as I said it. I was hoping to But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I don't know. I think I would have to take Cueto over R.A. Dickey.
I don't know. I disagree. I'm with him.
Yeah, Dickey's
and I'm not a Mets fan because the Mets are in the Braves division. I'm a big Braves fan, and I
have been a Mets fan my whole life. I have never seen a pitcher like that.
He's got a great knuckleball.
Yeah,
there's no denying
He's
that.
12-1.
He's 12-1.
He's got the best record in baseball.
Back-to-back one-hitters. First Mets pitcher.
I think he has the best pitching record in baseball.
First Mets pitcher to get 10 wins in like almost a decade.
Because, you know, the Mets don't win 10 games in most years.
Well, even the pitchers. The only pitcher they've had in the last couple weeks has been decent is Johan Santana.
Speaking of pitchers, who would have thought it would have took Cliff Lee 13 starts to get his first win this year?
That's against the Mets.
He's 0-6 in 12 starts. The times he did pitch good, there was no hitting.
Right.
The times that the team was hitting and he was pitching, he gave up too many runs.
Cliff Lee's a great talent.
Cliff Lee is excellent, and he finally gets his first win the other night. Like you said, against the Mets.
Of course.
But best record in the league right now is 50 games won. I can't remember who that is. It's not the Dodgers.
I'll say this now.
Oh, they've been slumping.
Yeah, now we feel like idiots because we had a question from Guitar Euro 3214 a couple weeks ago when he was on the show, and we asked what team is going to have the best record in the majors at the end of the season. We said the Dodgers. They've been horrible. The Mets trounced them.
One thing about the Chicago Cubs. I had to bring this up. This is an interesting fact to know. We've played 80 games up to this point. The Chicago Cubs, for each quarter, have the exact record. 15-25 in the first 40 games, 15-25 in the second quarter. So they're 30-50.
I feel
when it goes right now.
I feel so bad for the Cubs because there's two things I'll mention. One, there's a new show coming on NBC called Revolution. It's like about a post-apocalyptic world, and they're walking through the city of Chicago, and they walk past Wrigley Field, and it says 2012 World Series champion Cubs. And there's also a commercial for the video game MLB 12, the show, and they kind of show a fictional thing where the Cubs win the World Series, and everyone's like going nuts, and then it shows just in a video game. So it's like, it can happen in a virtual reality.
Miami. The Cubbies over Miami.
What year is this?
Moving on.
UEFA?
Moving on to UEFA. Spain pounds Italy 4-0 to win UEFA 2012.
Happened to Mario Bola, what was his name? Mario Bola?
It doesn't matter.
Baratoli.
Yeah.
I mean, from here straight on to the Olympics. Be covering the Olympics starting up here in a couple weeks, so that'll be fun.
It's going to be kind of weird.
Michael Phelps drops out of one of his events.
He's
only going for 7 instead of 8 medals.
7.
It's not like he doesn't have the record.
So this is going to be very weird. For the first time, the tennis is playing at Wimbledon, so it's going to be the first time you see.
That'd be really cool.
It's going to be the first time you see players not having to wear all white. They're going to wear their team colors, so it's going to be very interesting to see them on the lawns of Wimbledon not having to wear white.
That's right. Tennis is now the Olympic sport.
It's been an Olympic sport.
It's been an Olympic sport.
Fail.
Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist go first and second to mark the first time ever teammates have gone back-to-back 1 and 2. The first picks of the draft. Anthony Davis sprained his ankle.
Oh no!
He said he at first they said that he wasn't going to be able to go for Team USA. Turns out he's going to be able to. He's going to be able to go try out at least. He's been busy though.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has been between coining the phrase "fear the brow" and "raise the brow."
So now he can't shave it.
So now he can't shave it. He's trademarked those two, so you can't make a shirt without
raise
those.
The brow. Wouldn't it be the rock?
Well, that's what I was going to say. He tried to make it. Thank you for stealing a joke. I was going to go with the joke. The Rock. The Rock was maybe going to lay the smack down on his candy brow.
So wait, so The Rock has the people's eyebrow. He has the people's unibrow.
He's got the people's unibrow. So
he's got the Eugene Levy look.
Yeah. So the brow is coming. He sprained the brow. The brow got sprained. That's why he's not really. It's really sprained.
I'll say something about this. They were debating on Round the Horn. They were saying that before Anthony Davis said he was going to play for USA, they said is Anthony Davis' absence in this for the USA team, is it really detrimental? And they were saying no, which I kind of agree with, because Anthony Davis is a great talent, obviously, but he hasn't played in the NBA yet, so I don't think it's a really big issue that he wasn't going to be there for the Team USA. I mean, it's good that he's there now, but I think they were making too big of a deal about it because he hasn't played in the NBA yet. So we'll see.
All right, and before we get into the big news of the week, the mega huge news of the week, Postmaster's informed me he wants to talk NHL for whatever reason.
Big B, I know you got to be a little upset today.
Why am I upset?
Because the team captain of the New Jersey Devils is packed up and left town.
Who?
Zach Parise.
Oh, went to the Minnesota Wild.
Went to the Minnesota Wild. Him and Ryan Suter of the Nashville.
But I'll say this though, and I commend this. The Devils re-signed Martin Brodeur to another deal. He has not been with another team his whole career.
Right.
So it's really good.
But Ryan Suter and Zach Parise signed double 13-year, $93 million contract.
We were talking about this before while we were waiting on his late ass.
He was probably having
13 years. 13 years. That is crazy.
It is crazy, but in hockey's Big B will tell you they sign long contracts for whatever.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby signed a long contract.
Yeah, like in last year, the goalie Quick for the Kings, he signed like a 15-year deal.
They sign long deals.
They always sign like ridiculously long years. But there's a lot of free agency going on with hockey, a lot of moving around.
Is Vincent LeCavalier a free agent?
No.
Damn it!
Jordan Tutu.
Yeah, Jordan Tutu, this really upset me. He goes to the rival.
It upset your wife.
Oh, the wife was really upset.
Like,
Stephanie was very upset. This was her favorite Preds player. He's now going to the Detroit Red Wings. Fail. And then it's like a hockey apocalypse. That's what the wife called it.
It's a apocalypse.
She's going to hockey title town.
Yeah, exactly. So a little hockey news, a little free agency to clean up there. So now,
the big
NFL news.
The big news. Jonathan Vilma versus Roger Goodell continuing.
Is this a boxing match?
No. Oh. Causing now the NFL to be sued by the union because of actions taken by the commissioner. Reportedly, Goodell had already made up his mind to suspend the players involved in Bountygate. Now, here's the question that they've been talking about all week. Does Roger Goodell have too much power?
No.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with you. But there are several people that say because he overheard the appeals process that he has too much power, because if you are appealing Roger Goodell's decision, should Roger Goodell hear the appeal? That part I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. That'd be like going to the same judge. It's almost reverse double jeopardy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that's really kind of weird. Roger Goodell is saying that Vilma and the other players did not have a large part in their appeals and failed to support any evidence to claim that they were innocent. Now, what do you think? Do you think maybe Roger Goodell has too much power?
I don't think so, and this is a situation that obviously has to be taken care of, and he's the commissioner. It's his job to take care of these certain things, so I don't think he has too much power in this regard. I do agree with the thing with the seeing the appeal. I do agree with that. He shouldn't, that's too much, obviously. But, I mean, this whole situation, he shouldn't be suing the NFL in the first place. He's getting his just suspension, that's it.
Mm-hmm. This old adage has been tossed around a lot, but it fits the bill perfectly. Roger Goodell is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. So is it good? In this case, I don't care if Jonathan Vilma ever plays another down in the NFL. I mean, what he did was despicable.
Yeah.
The fact that he took part in it was ridiculous. Right. And the fact that he's saying, oh, it's a defamation of character, and I want to sue. You're not going to win. Yeah. You're not going to win.
And I'll say this, Tagliabue didn't have this much involvement as Goodell. No way.
Goodell keeps a clean league. It's run clean. He's very disciplined. Since Goodell has took over,
you see more of Goodell than you did of Tagliabue.
Yeah.
Tagliabue was just not really hands-on.
I think since Roger Goodell has took over, the NFL has took off even more.
Yeah,
he has done more.
Yeah, they're talking about getting a team in London.
Yeah, I mean they have done more since he's took over. I mean, now they're doing a thing now. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier, and I love this. You know how we'll just use his Ed Hockley goes under the hood and watches the replay. We actually get to see the replay he gets to see now. Yeah. So we like when they make a call and we're all like, "Boo, you suck!" or like or we're cheering because it's the call when it goes our way.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. We actually get to see what they get to see. So I think that's a good. And apparently, also, I saw this a little while ago, where there'll be a new way to hear the players on the field.
Yeah, there's sound bites,
I'm going to see how they're going to be able to do that. They'll have to do some cleaning up of language and audio, I would imagine.
There's going to be some censor button the entire time.
There'll be some beep, 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 beep. You know, the dump button will be used very heavily to say the
They're going to have to probably put it on a 30-second delay for that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think Roger Goodell is definitely definitely having a larger role in the NFL than he should. I do agree. He's made it cleaner, but there's no secret. What he's trying to do is eliminate the kickoff, and that's just not going to fly.
Yeah, didn't look at Randall Cobb. He said, I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's one of those things that he needs to let that vendetta go because it is what it is. Yeah. The league, for sure, could use some more improvement. But as far as Roger Goodell seeing the judge, the jury, and the executioner, now Jonathan Vilma, of course, is now trying to take this to the next level and go to the federal courts. Right. Personally, I know we're kind of running short on time real quick, but I've got 18 seconds here. Hurry up. 18 seconds. I do want to say that Roger Goodell has it right here because they signed the CBA. The players signed the CBA.
Right, they agreed to everything.
They agreed to everything. There is no overturning this in court, and we'll talk about why after the break.
Oh, babe, check this out. Hey, come on. You want a little chippy? You want a Dorito? Are you hungry? I want to get a Dorito.
Babe, don't hurt my dog.
Come on, get a chip. Come on, get a chip. Get a chip. Come on. Where we go?
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. I am Postmaster Jones, along with my esteemed colleagues, Big B and the Doctor.
You're back.
And we were discussing Roger Goodell and his legalities.
Goodell v. Vilma.
And rulings over the league before we went to commercial break. And you started to bring up a point that you wanted us to talk about here.
When this goes to the next level, I don't see how Jonathan Vilma has a case here because they signed the CBA.
Exactly.
Right. They all signed the CBA. I don't see the CBA being re-signed when this one expires because I do think Roger Goodell has too much power. I could see him being the judge and the executioner, but not the jury. Right. And meaning, I don't think he should hear appeals. And we talked about this a second ago, but I did want to continue on this. I don't think he should be talking about appeals that he has handed down judgments on. I think that is ridiculous. I think that is absurd. And I think the players are kind of stupid for signing that.
What are we signing right now?
It says what now? But I mean,
read the fine print.
Of course, when they sign this, no one imagined that this is coming out. I mean, this is a first. This is landmark. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on that?
It's just, I agree with what he said. Vilma, you're not going to win. I mean, you obviously, you put your hand in the cookie jar, basically, and you got caught. That's it. You're not going to win this appeal. Just take your suspension. You've made a lot of money over your career. You're not going to lose out on a lot. I mean, how long has he been in?
Full year.
Full year, okay. Ah!
What?
Wow. But, no, I mean, Vilma's not going to win this thing, so I don't know why he's wasting time suing the NFL for this ridiculous accusation because, what happened with Bountygate is something that we've never seen before. Or it's probably happened before, they didn't know about it.
Right.
So the fact this is going on, I've lost a lot of respect not just for the Saints, but him as a player. He's wasting his time.
I agree. And I know we're all three huge NFL guys. Other than probably professional wrestling, it's probably the next best thing we love to talk about and watch. So one thing I was talking to him earlier, and I think it'd be good to bring up on the show now. Couple of just quick notes, and I want to get your opinion on this, and he can air his opinion on the air. Earlier, there was some things of note of like quarterback battles going on in the NFL, and I'll just name a few, and you tell us who you think. One of the ones they brought up was Tavares Jackson and Matt Flynn. We'll start with that because I know you're a big Seahawks fan.
I mean, they brought in Matt Flynn for a reason. Right. They brought in Matt Flynn because they said, this guy's got the talent. He shouldn't be a backup. Let's sign this guy and we'll have a good quarterback because Tavares Jackson, while he was good on the Vikings, he came over to Seattle and didn't really have the same success. Later in the half part of the season, maybe the last couple 5-6 games, he started playing a little bit better. But, I'm hearing now, obviously, Pete Carroll's a big guy on competition, and that's all fine and dandy. And they're saying that Tavares Jackson's actually playing better in training camp. He's taking the first team reps right now. So, I mean, Matt Flynn's going to have to earn that job, which I completely agree with. And, you know, bottom line, if Tavares Jackson does start and he phases out, put in Matt Flynn. They got a good backup in him. You know, if Tavares Jackson plays well enough to get the job, he's obviously deserves it. So,
I told you I think Matt Flynn. I mean, I think that I think Tavares Jackson would be your better choice for third down, but that's for mobility and size reasons. Third and short, not third down overall, but third and short.
Give him Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, but well, that play is going to get old. So
yeah, exactly. Another one to throw out to you: Jake Locker and Matt Hasselbeck.
Jake Lock.
I said
Jake Locker.
It's Jake Locker.
Oh, it's Locker. Jake Locker or Matt Hasselbeck.
I mean, right now it looks like Hasselbeck. If you ask me this question next year, I'd say Jake Locker. Next year.
No, right.
But I still think this year Hasselbeck's got the job.
I'm going to say Jake Locker anyway. I told him before.
Right. Chad Henne or Blaine Gabbert? This one's kind of tough.
I mean, Blaine Gabbert was abysmal last year. God. He was like ranked...
He ranked under Colin Kaepernick.
He was like 35th, and there's like only 32 teams, so that's pretty...
Don't hate on Kaepernick.
I'm not. I'm making a statement that Kaepernick is a backup.
So, I mean, they signed Blaine Gabbert for a reason. I mean, they brought in Chad Henne from Miami, which is kind of funny. David Garrard went to Miami, and Chad Henne goes to Jacksonville. But, I mean, I think Blaine Gabbert got the job. They drafted him for a reason. I think Chad Henne would be a fine backup. I still think they're going to stick with Blaine Gabbert.
I think Chad Henne needs to go go with that. I mean, I just don't see it. I see it as a no-brainer. He helped Miami towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
wins some pretty big wins. Chad Henne, I think, and for me, is hands-down decision. Get rid of Blaine Gabbert. There are some people that just don't have a future. Like they talk about Blaine Gabbert, and then you talk about Christian Ponder. Christian Ponder had a great rookie year.
He did.
He had a great rookie year.
And his quarterback coach said he is light years ahead of what he was last year.
I'm sorry. I have a problem with that because, yeah, you can have all the numbers and the touchdowns, all the stats you want, but where's the wins? Okay, who did the Vikings add to improve their team that I don't know?
That's just it. But what I'm not saying the wins may not be there. But like last year, Christian Ponder was like a 54% passer.
Right, that's all fine. But
he may now be close to like 60% passing, and he may have like a 3,500-yard year.
But that doesn't.
We're not talking about the team. I'm talking about the individual.
The individual.
Well, I think he had the wins too.
Right, I know, but we're talking about individual.
The central north part of the nation is going to have a very interesting battle to watch this year. As we're talking about this, there are two players that could very well be the two best all-purpose players playing on rival teams. Percy Harvin and Randall Cobb. And that's going to be the battle to watch this year. I mean, who's going to be the best all-purpose player this year?
Percy Harvin's
It's going to be one of those two. They're both ridiculously sickening players to watch. Sickening, obviously. Randall Cobb, of course, had the Nelly move straight out of Kentucky. Straight out of the longest yard last year in the first play of the year. Just flipping over the guy's back and landing on both feet. A la Nelly from that movie. It's going to be one of the best battles to watch, I think, of the entire year.
Two more here, and then we'll move on. Mark Sanchez or Tim Tebow?
Oh, this is tough.
Because you're a Jets fan, that's why this is tough.
Well, it's tough because, like I said, I had a big problem with Tim Tebow going to the Jets because we were talking about it. He had a chance to go to Jacksonville, and he decided not to, where I think he would definitely be the starter in Jacksonville over Blaine Gabbert. No doubt.
No question.
But in the Jets... I want it to be Tim Tebow. I just don't think they're going to... I think they pick Mark Sanchez.
I think last year, you look for... When you're trying to break down a common denominator, you look at the common denominator of the common denominator. And that is, last year, I made an analysis. And I'm going to bring PostMaster's name up here because he agreed. And that was Week 10... The Jets went to Denver, and I gave a very thorough analysis of why the Jets were going to lose that game. And it turned out to be correct.
We were proven right.
We were proven right. I made the call, and Postmaster agreed with me. He said, you know what, you've made some very good points. If you want to recap that episode, go ahead. I forgot what episode it was.
I don't remember, but I remember watching it with him. It was Thursday night.
It was Thursday.
Go back and watch it. It was a Thursday night football game last year.
And I made the call, and PostMaster liked how I backed it up, and he hopped on. He hopped on with it. From there on, that was the Tebow train. I mean,
he thought we were nuts.
He thought we were nuts. But it was one of those things that when I made that analysis, of course, now both players are involved on the same team.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said, I think Tebow was the better quarterback that night. Obviously, they won that night. I'm going to say Tim Tebow wins that battle in the end.
I'm with you. I say Tim Tebow. They brought him there for a reason. He's not there just to be the media darling. I mean, yeah, the Broncos were 8-8, but they did make the playoffs. He did lead them to a win. He led them to a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You see, you also have to take into account the Broncos weren't that bad.
They weren't.
They were the second youngest team in the NFL last year.
They had a good running back.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
They not just one good running back. They had a couple good running backs.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were the second youngest team in the NFL last year. I think that they definitely were doing things right. They were moving in the right direction, and Tebow was a big part of that.
Yeah. Right. And the final one that I will throw out there for you, and this also I saw earlier, and I thought it was a quite interesting QB battle, is...
Who didn't say it was
I know. Who would you pick, Brady Quinn or Peyton Manning?
I picked Brady. Yeah, right.
Really? It was actually posed as a joke. It was a total joke. They said,
I take Peyton Manning, I take Archie Manning.
I'm going to say Peyton.
Obviously. Peyton Manning. It was just funny. Like, when they first posed the question, I went, dude, they couldn't hold a straight face. They just started cracking laughing on the set of NFL Live. I'm like, this is hilarious. So, that's good to get your all's analysis on that. I thought that was
want to talk about what we were...
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that, too, real quick. Me and the doctor, we haven't quite included him on this
But he's going to find out now.
But he'll find out now, and I'm sure he'll be all for it. And this is for you, all the viewers. Me and the doctor brainstormed this idea. We went back and forth for about 10 minutes, but we both were in agreement on this. We're going to do this year a Triple Threat Talk Fantasy Football League. Now, here's the deal. We're going to do an 8-team league, okay? There's going to be 7 viewer teams, so 7 viewers, and we'll figure out a way to which 7 viewers get in. And the 8th team will be a team that me, the doctor, and Big B will manage. So you will go against us, the hosts, and then the 7 of you all, and we'll see who wins in fantasy football.
Yeah, and then of course we're still going to do pick'ems. And if there's a lot of interest for this, and he wasn't opposed to this either, we're definitely going to do the three team. That's our team, and then we play off against you guys. If there's more interest in this than we're anticipating, which there may be, we'll break off into other individual leagues. I'll have a league, he'll have a league, and you'll have a league. Of course, that won't be an inter-league competition. That'll just give you guys more of a chance to go off against
you can take on him, you can take on him, or you can take on me. You know. So a lot of NFL, some fun NFL stuff to talk about, and we also we want to get your thoughts on this, and maybe even the viewers too. What do you think about the Triple Threat Talk football special being the first week of preseason?
I like it. I like it too. And unfortunately, that week we have to present you with your jersey.
That'll be the week we present him with his, I think we're going to get him a Hunter Smith jersey, right? Well, I mean, come on. I mean, he's a 49er. Big B. I know you're a big, if you go search past episodes, you're a big fan of this guy. So, why don't you tell us about the major accomplishment by one Mr. Jaws himself, Joey Chestnut?
Actually, that's going to be my wild card.
Okay, we'll save it then.
It's a wild card.
Oh, you wanted to save it for your wild card? Well, you had it in the headlines.
I don't have a wild card now.
That is, so I guess that wraps up headlines.
That does wrap up headlines.
You know what? It's a little bit early, but we're going to take a break just because coming up next is our wrestling coverage. Stay tuned on Triple Threat Talk.
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar. I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to ovwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. ovwrestling.com, click on school.
And we are back on Triple Threat Talk. Big B alongside the doctor and what's your name again? Postmaster Johns?
Boxy Brown.
Boxy Brown.
Postmaster Jones. But we're back. Obviously, we finished up with sports and headlines and all that stuff. Now we're into wrestling.
Wrestling?
And of course, we kick things off, as always, with our OVW interview this week. Last week, we had Ricky Chevy on. And he had, he had some choice words for Mr. Frank Miller, Trailer Park Trash, calling him out, challenging him basically to homecoming. And he had some choice words. I mean, you did the interview. What did you get from that interview? Like the vibe you got?
I didn't get a sense of hatred coming from Ricky Chevy. I did not get a sense of hatred.
He certainly hates you.
Chevy and I are good friends off the set. He made a choice comment that they brought back to me, though. And that might be something to look forward to in the future. But Chevy and I are, as close as you can be for talking once a week. I like talking to him. He likes talking to me. So he brings a certain energy. But I did not get a sense of hatred between him and Frank. I got somebody who wants to step out of the shadows. Is what I got. Right. That's the vibe, the gist of what I got standing next to him.
Right.
Apparently there was an interview. We set up the interview last week, so we actually knew our interview was going to be this week. Right. I set him up. I was not there. I had 4th of July grill out at the house with the family and the fiance. Mm-hmm. So take it away with Frank Miller.
This week was an interview with the new Director of Operations, Trailer Park Trash, Frank.
And as I was interviewing Frank, a little surprise.
Yeah, take a look. Here's an interview with Trailer Park Trash.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Danny Davis Arena. I'm Postmaster Jones for Triple Threat Talk, and I'm standing here with the one and only OVW Rendell, Trailer Park Trash. Trailer, it's an honor to have you on the show. Good evening.
Thanks for having me, man.
Some controversy brewing here in the OVW family.
Oh, there's always controversy.
Oh, absolutely. But apparently, there's a certain wrestler that has a little beef with you. We had the one and only Mr. Ricky Chevy himself on the show last week.
I'm sure that went well.
And he had a few choice things to say, like, you were once, he was under your wing, and now you've kind of just threw him to the side, and he's fed up with the way you've been treating him here lately. And he says at homecoming, in 2 weeks, he wants to take you out personally.
Well, first of all, let me make this clear for you. He was never under my wing because I don't have a wing big enough to fit him underneath, okay? I did try to help the guy out. He was actually at another promotion at a show in which I was in the locker room and very disgusted by everything I seen. And I looked at Ricky and I told him, I said, you look like you're posing for the billboard for the Michelin Man commercials. If you want to be a wrestler, lose some weight, get some wrestling gear, quit going to Walmart. And then I took him into class and I tried to teach him some things. And you can't teach the stupid, and that's just the best way to put it. And now he wants to call me out, and I'm actually surprised he put together a complete sentence, but he is, and now he's wanting to call me out for homecoming, and I guess he thinks he's going to make me eat some dog food. So, I've been in this business over 20 years, and you don't make it that long in this business without learning something and having a little bit of brain. So I'm going to let him keep floating his own boat and say what he says, and let him be happy for a few more weeks, because he's got 2 weeks. He's got basically 2 weeks, and then I'll just have to take the boy to school.
All right, sounds good. So if he was to, let's say, I don't know, show up here on the show right now, if he walked up to you right now, what would you say to him, man to man? If you were looking him in the eye, what words could you say to Mr. Chevy?
Well, first of all, I'd have to actually pick some words that he could actually understand. So. I really don't know what I would say to him. It's kind of, you ever had like the little kid that you love kids, but at the same time you have the little kid that you just, wish you just stay away from you, and you kind of avoid them every time you see them cross your path. Ricky's kind of like that with me. I try to, because I can't ever really understand him anyway. Right. And he does those stupid, goofy commercials for Little John's, and what do? do with a guy like that? You just let him, like I said, you let him run his mouth, and I avoid him. I stay away from him. I think that pisses him off more than anything. And, you know, he thinks I take guys and do things with them because they're my friends, and that's not how this business works. You know, I help out those who deserve it. And Ricky's so far done nothing to deserve anything. And normally I wouldn't even wrestle the guy, but, you know, sometimes you just got to shut guys up. There's only one way to do it. And in Ricky's case, it's going to be shoving a mouthful of Alpo, and then, of course, he'll get chopped many times. You know.
Whoa. Frank. Come on, man. You know. Hang on. I'm going to enlighten y'all here with something. I got my cash today.
Reading the dictionary again, eh?
Now, hear this, Frank Miller, Trailer Park Trash. Woo! July 15th, 5 p.m. I get to take out the trash for good, and it's coming to an end. The heart and soul is gone. Woo! People will forever remember Ricky. By God, I got paid today, Chevy, and you will be an afterthought. You thought you could stop me. You created this monster, and now you're gonna deal with it. Because I'm here, and I'm gonna be the next big thing, baby.
The only thing I can say is, Ricky, you will be taking out the trash. In fact, we've got quite a few garbage cans right here that need to be empty now. So it's my best advisement for you to do what you're told, because 2 weeks isn't that far away, boy.
Director of Operations,
I've had enough of you.
You better go. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Woo! It's on.
Ricky, before you go, if you don't mind me asking, you heard what Frank had to say, and you heard what he told me here on the air. What are your thoughts about, you know, basically calling you, you know, uneducated, can't read, you know, saying things like, you know, I need to talk words he can understand and blah, blah, you know, all that.
Well, you know, he can say what he wants to, but you can't argue the fact that I'm a self-made, self-paid, blue-collar doing it the redneck way billionaire. And Frank, people love this face, and it's going to look good when I'm beating you down, and I just add you to my resume. Woo! It's on, baby!
And that's Ricky Chevy doing what he knows best. And this is Postmaster Jones, and we'll see you at the next OVW show.
I mean, I was thinking Ricky Chevy's obviously frustrated.
I mean, he even basically got re-interviewed again. I mean,
obviously he feels like he's left out of the shuffle, and really a shocking thing for TPT to say when, you know, you posed the question to him. You know, he took him under his wing and said, "I'm a wing big enough for that kid." So it's like he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, he said all kinds of stuff.
And the thing that really, you know, spoke to me was
he said he got his clothes at Walmart.
Well, the thing he said, like, he's like, you know, that kid just like, leave me alone, don't bother me now. It's like, you know, he doesn't like the guy.
Right.
So
yeah.
But yeah, definitely two sides. Because I'm getting frustration from Frank, but not so much from Chevy. So I think Chevy has to step.
Yeah, he's the hunger.
Ricky, by God, Chevy.
He's the blue collar billionaire.
But so kicking off with OVW, I was there last week. I was the only member of Triple Threat Talk in attendance last week because they had some other stuff. Of course, Postmaster with his arm and
all better.
What did you have to do?
DWA. That's right. OVW. The night began with Joe Coleman and the TV title tournament. We're not the only people that run out of time because Ken Wayne came out.
Yeah, I'll say before we get into this, you know, we talk about the business side. That's what we do. I don't get why.
I don't get that.
I don't get why they did this. It's because have all these tournament matches and have people have their opportunity like LaMotta and Ali and Coleman.
Rudo Raul LaMotta.
I'm Rudo Raul LaMotta. I don't get why they did the Battle Royal because they kind of just threw everything out of the way. Yeah. So they could have done the Battle Royal from the beginning instead of having all these qualifying matches. And it's because you know we don't really know what to do.
I think it was just a miscalculation, a big miscalculation. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, they put everybody in a Battle Royal, and the top two actually went on. Nobody won, but the top two get to fight each other
at
Saturday Night Special. Danny Davis threw a hitch in because the last two were Raul LaMotta and Ali Vaez. Danny Davis said he wanted to shake up the family. He got to pick first, and he picked none other than Muhammad Ali Vaez.
And I watched the episode in review, and I don't know Ali personally, but I kind of got a vibe from him that he wasn't too upset that he got picked by Danny Davis. Every time Josette was, you know, getting mad, and it's like, "Oh, we can't pick this. He's our guy." And she was like, "You can't do this." And he was looking at him like, He didn't really matter. He didn't really mind.
He was kind of sticker shocked, I think, that Davis picked him. But yeah, I agree. I didn't think he looked too angry.
Yeah.
McNaylor and Adam Revolver got in the final encounter
match. This was a waste. It got a count out.
Yeah. And then their mom came out.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Are they going to match a Saturday Night Special? They might throw it in there. I don't know if they will or not. But.
So Compton and Silvio and Jason Wayne had a confrontation. Ken Wayne made that a triple threat match. There was a women's match for the #1 contender. It was at this point that Ken Wayne came out and was very apologetic.
Yeah.
He seemed very apologetic that he had to strip the title away from Epiphany.
Right.
But it was Blair Alexis, Heidi Lovelace, Jessie Bell, and Taylor Hendricks, who is fresh off of TNA developmental contract now. Four-way match. Taylor Hendricks picks up the win. Josette picked Taylor to represent her at SNS, and Danny Davis picked Epiphany. The winner of that will be the new women's champion.
And I found out today it's going to be an evening gown match. So
we're going. Ken Wayne announced the Trailer Park Trash is back now. We touched on earlier. The main event was Chris Silvio taking on Cliff and Jason Wayne. Cliff Compton picked up the victory.
And there's kind of there's still things going on with Compton and Silvio. I think
definitely
some kind of animosity here.
And then Ken Wayne informed Josette all night that there was some sort of surprise, and I knew what it was. I mean, it was just the vibe in the building. It's not one of those things where it was common sense or anything like that. It was definitely the vibe in the building that Ken Wayne, based on what had been happening the last couple weeks and what happened earlier with Epiphany being stripped, Ken Wayne just grabbed actually the world title from Rob Terry and said, "Hey, guess what, big guy?
I'm taking this.
You're no longer the OVW."
And he actually stole your line and said, "I just did that."
Yeah, I just did that. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Where's your $5?
Where's my $5? Danny Davis and Ken Wayne were then beat down by the family and Bowling Services.
Well, just Joe Coleman and Jack Black.
And it kind of was unbelievable to me that the locker room waited as long as it did to empty out. I mean, they got their butts kicked, and it took about 5 minutes for anybody to get out there and help them.
When Ken Wayne was down getting punched in the face, it looked like he was dead.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely some miscommunication that seemed going on in the locker room.
This Saturday night is Saturday night, especially if you live in the Louisville area. I would definitely recommend going. 4400 Shepherdsville Road. Doors open at 7:30, I believe.
No, they don't open 7:30.
They open at 7.
7.
Yeah.
7.
No, they open at 6. The show starts at like
bell
7
time
or
at 7.
He said
bell time.
Bell time 7:30. Doors open at 6:30.
Yeah.
Sorry. Obviously, the big news. The show's already up on Blip TV, and you can watch it this Saturday. But the big story, obviously, is that Danny Davis picked his 5th person. It's going to be TNA Superstar Abyss. Is going to be in the gauntlet match in the steel cage, and the winner of that match, last person standing, is going to be the champion. So we'll see what happens with that. I probably expect something with Silvio and Compton. Paradise and Espinosa are battling for the tag titles. Ali Vice is battling LaMotta for the TV title. Should be a good show.
And after SNS, we will be able to chant 8, 8, 8, 8.
Maybe.
But we want to thank Terry Bodie, as usual, for everything he does.
Thank Trailer Park Trash for the interview.
Trash and Ricky Chevy for the interview. Every week that they do, check out Terry Bodie's website at www.thefanadvocate.com. And just check out OVW at ovwrestling.com. It's a great show, better than SmackDown. We say it all the time. It's a very, very good show. Speaking of SmackDown, that takes us to our Raw coverage. And, wasn't a whole lot that happened.
Well, the big things on Raw, I only put a few things. Paul Heyman revealed that Brock Lesnar will respond to Triple H's challenge at the 1000th episode of Raw. The thing is about Brock Lesnar's contract, he only really has 2 big dates left, and they're apparently just SummerSlam and WrestleMania 29, so not really much left for Brock Lesnar to do. But apparently he's going to be the 1000th episode to, say if he's going to fetch Triple H, which we all knew he's going to anyway. But, so with the 1000th episode of Raw looming, special guests keep popping up. Heath Slater's taking on Vader, and Psycho Sid,
Roddy Piper,
and keeping up
Cyndi Lauper
with the legacy of epicness that Heath Slater keeps finding. He fought this week none other than
a clown.
Doink the clown.
Clown.
Really?
Heath Slater did pick up the win. However, Doink was
mind you that Doink the Clown was the biggest jobber in WWE history. He was played by none other than Brooklyn Brawler.
But, however,
yes,
he did suffer the fate of another legend. DDP appeared and gave him a diamond cutter. He felt the bang.
Bang!
Self high five. He felt the bang.
So
the man. This is the thing I like this though. The main event featured Cena and Punk taking on Bryan and Jericho. At the end of it, came down to Bryan and Punk, and AJ came out and disrupted. She pulled the table out. Looked like she was going to jump through it, and obviously got Bryan and Punk's attention. And she kissed Punk, and he fell to the table.
And AJ said that she drew her inspiration of that kiss from watching Big B and Cody Rhodes backstage. Perfect setup. I couldn't resist.
But I do. If these two can control themselves,
I can't.
I do like where they're going with this AJ thing. I think it's very good. Obviously, trying to get into the head of.
After that, come on.
Trying to get into the head of Bryan and Punk. This is very good. I like what they're going with this.
Who? Okay.
What?
Who does she cost the match at Money in the Bank?
CM Punk.
I say Bryan. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, Money in the Bank's another week away, so we'll have to preview it next week.
Yeah, we shall see.
But this is very odd this week. SmackDown was actually live on Tuesday. The Great American.
Well, but before you get into
with
that,
a dash.
Usually we do cover a little bit more of the business side of things. But the only thing we talked about, we've been talking about the Heyman, Lesnar, Triple H, and then the whole AJ and all that. So we've been discussing that business. So we figured we just recap Raw.
Right.
I don't know if you guys talked about this last week. You may have. With John Cena announcing that he was going to enter Money in the Bank,
right.
And he's never been in Money in the Bank,
right.
Does he win?
No.
You don't think?
I don't think the Money in the Bank match is done either. There's only 4 of them in there.
Yeah, there's only 4.
I don't think they're going to have it just before.
Yeah.
So moving on to the Great American Bash
with a dash.
No. Like I said, I'm going to go back to the question here. All right. Against all odds 20. Cody Rhodes defeated Christian on SmackDown to qualify for the Money in the Bank.
Finally, he actually wins a match.
And he said he hasn't won a match in months. I compare this to Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan won in the Money in the Bank, he was on a losing streak. And when he won, people were like, what? He won? So that's why I kind of see here possibly because, let's be honest. The Money in the Bank match before Cody Rhodes and Dolph Ziggler beat Alex Riley to qualify as well. Before that, it wasn't really many people in there. Tyson Kidd has been, not really a person that you can...
He beat Lord Tensai.
Well, I'm just saying, before that, Tyson Kidd hasn't really been featured.
Which is epic.
He hasn't been featured a lot. Damian Sandow, although he's epic, he's too new. Santino and Christian don't need to be in there because they're champions, so it makes no sense. And then the last person that was in there, Lord Tensai.
Why?
What do you mean why?
So, okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna pose this question to you then. It doesn't make sense? Okay, so why did it make sense that Ultimate Warrior, the Intercontinental Champion, took on Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania? He was a champion. No, he shouldn't win the match. He's a champion.
I'm saying the reason... No. The reason I'm saying they don't belong in the Money in the Bank match is because...
Why?
Money in the Bank match is for someone that needs a golden opportunity. They don't need a golden opportunity to win the world title.
It's to win a world title.
I still feel that
it would be improving, just like the Ultimate Warrior.
But I feel they should defend their titles. That makes the titles look weak.
That's fine.
Well, it's not unheard of for people to wrestle twice in one night.
But I'm just saying.
But I mean, I agree with PostMaster on this one because you can't just say that it's a golden opportunity or that
because it's not. It's a champion. It's a world heavyweight opportunity. It's not a gold.
Right.
It's not like if Cody Rhodes wins, I think I'll go for the Divas title.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
you can't really say that.
But like I said, Cody Rhodes and Dolph Ziggler winning makes the Money in the Bank match more interesting because, I mean, we're gonna do our picks next week, but those are my 2 picks. Obviously, I didn't see anyone else winning. I don't see Christian winning the world title anymore. He's on the and Chris Santino's not even close, and Sandow, Kidd, and Tensai they're too new. So,
but I mean, Sheamus was new, so I think.
Sheamus is an exception. Sheamus is an exception.
I think Tensai might have a shot.
I don't think so.
I think Sandow might have a shot.
If Sandow wins, I'll be very furious. He is way too new. I like him, but he's way too new.
Just saying.
He is way too green.
Don't be surprised.
Way too green.
Then we found out that AJ's kind of got her tongue in a couple people.
Yep. So, like I said, I like this AJ thing. I think it's very smart. I like how she's playing into getting in the heads of Punk and Bryan before the match at Money in the Bank. And I think the special referee thing is very interesting. Although, I did see the poll. I thought it would be kind of funny if she was special guest commentator.
It would be hilarious.
And then, of course...
SmackDown gets zapped.
Goes to Long Island IZ next week.
Woo, woo.
You know it.
So we're going to take our last break. We got a couple seconds before the end of the break, but when we get back, we're going to wrap up the show with wild cards after the break.
The Fresh Maker.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. We're going to wrap things up with a little wild card and a little idiot of the week and
idiot of the week
closing segments here.
We have a surprise idiot.
Yes, we do have a surprise idiot of the week. So Big B, you said you announced you had a epic wild card, according to you.
That's not epic.
So take it away, sir.
You like hot dogs?
Apparently you do.
Where are you going with this?
You like hot dogs?
Sure, why not?
Like,
how many could you eat
in the lower area? There's not a line here. Like,
how many hot dogs could you eat in 10 minutes?
Probably 3.
In 10 minutes?
Oh, maybe 5.
In 10 minutes?
Yeah.
With bun?
Yeah.
10 minutes?
None.
You couldn't eat any in 10 minutes?
I don't care for hot dogs.
Ah, okay. Well, anyway, Joey Chestnut ate 68 of them in 10 minutes.
Awesome.
If you do your math, that's around 7 hot dogs a minute. Ridiculous.
Well, we know he likes the sausage.
That's disgusting.
Well,
utterly. He should have had a glass of True Blue.
Wash it down. But I mean, you know, it's on ESPN, so they kind of consider it a sport.
Why?
I don't know. Competitive.
Well, I'll counter that point with this. Often on ESPN2 at midnight, it's recorded, but I have frequently seen Magic the Gathering tournaments on ESPN2.
What?
Yeah. It's true.
He has. He's not lying.
It's a true story.
That's crazy.
And I've also seen old AWA wrestling on ESPN Classic.
I've seen ESPN Classic.
I've seen Scrabble on ESPN.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you see a lot of things.
Yeah, there's
but I mean, he's won 6 titles. You know, it's kind of impressive. I mean, eating 68 hot dogs, tied a world record. I mean, that was our first skit. You know, how many hot dogs can you eat and thing, whatever. So.
I think
I'm full.
But I mean, yeah, congratulations winning a 6th mustard belt. You know, it's a spectacle sports part of 4th of July. I guess people like to watch it. I watch it because it was on. So
I would totally enter a chicken wings eating contest.
You
like, no
lose.
kidding. No, I can eat chicken
how
wings.
hot?
And actually, in the contest, they don't make them hot.
Well,
they make them. But I mean, it's like medium. Like
how many could you eat?
I think I'd want to be.
How many could you eat in 10 minutes? Now, what kind of wings are we talking about? Are we talking about like
just like regular
like
kind of
Hooters wings?
Yeah, when they do these things, they do Hooters.
Okay, how many could you eat in 10 minutes?
I don't want to do anything too egregious, but I honestly think I could eat about 40 wings in 10 minutes. Maybe more.
That's 4 wings a minute.
I know.
Let's say that's first of all. Let's say this though. Number one, you wouldn't eat anything all day, probably, right?
Probably, yeah.
But just have water,
right?
Probably,
yeah, some water.
Okay, so you know,
maybe
they do that. By the way,
I think I kind of want to be like The Rock. I want to be at a pie eating contest.
There's only one pie for you, though.
I have so many of these food eating peppers, oysters.
But I mean, everybody has your own food, so this is a good point. I like this wild card. It's silly, but it's kind of opening up.
Right.
Everybody has those couple foods that you can eat all day.
Right.
Like really, like you can eat all day. Yeah. Mine are chicken wings and crab legs and like seafood generally.
Crab legs.
What could you eat all day?
I don't know.
PostMaster?
Pizza.
You can eat pizza all day? See, it fills me up. I love pizza.
I like pizza, but I'm trying to
probably
stay away
pizza
from it.
and French fries.
Stay away from
Epic,
pizza.
the good stuff.
Stay
what about you? You got a wild card this week?
I do. It's silly, so I don't mind, going in between here. That's true. Big B and I, and you're welcome to do this too, but we know that you work on Fridays. July 19th, our theater is doing something pretty epic. They're running all 3 Batman films.
Well,
so
the first 2.
The first 2 followed up at midnight, so he and I will be participating in that. Of course, you're more than welcome to, but we know that you work on Fridays, so it's one of those things. So we figured that you'll be sleeping, counting sheep, counting little postmasters by then. But
epic.
We're going to be taking part in that. So it's pretty cool. So how about you? What's your wild card?
You're gonna laugh, but I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to go back to high school.
Why?
After the epic news yesterday.
What's that?
The KHSAA officially announced yesterday that bass fishing is an official sport.
Epic!
In high school, I would so be on the bass fishing team. That would be epic.
I almost missed out on being a pro or a collegiate athlete, actually, on those grounds. My second year of college, there's a huge push at U of L to get an X-ball team, which is paintball, college paintball, which is a sport, but U of L could not get a sponsor to do it. So I would have been on the team because me and my friend Glenn at the time, we were the ones trying to start the team. So we almost had a sponsor. It fell through, but I would have been a collegiate athlete.
But yeah, epic. So in high school now, you can be on the bass fishing team. I thought that was epic. I was like, dang it. If I was still in school, I definitely would be on the bass fishing team.
You gotta throw it back. It's not big enough.
So now the idiot of the week.
Yeah, after a little bit of discussion outside.
Yeah, we did have a discussion, and we have decided that this week's idiot of the week is Big B. And the reason is, take it away, Doc.
Big B the other day told each of us that he would be off work by 9.
Oh my God.
And would be here. Okay, 9 o'clock. And you're thinking, you're going to give him idiot of the week because he was late? No. He was 45 minutes late, keeping us outside, and the temperature that the sun is even sweating up above us because it's so damn hot.
It's hotter than 10 Mexicans in a minivan with no AC outside. Keeping us outside.
Here's an idea. You're not strangers. You could come inside.
Your parents are like down in the basement.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have heard us. Right.
Could have knocked. Is that what you're saying? Maybe we should have just put it on potato sacks and let ourselves.
Then like the strangers, why did you do this? Because you were home.
Because you were home.
So with that being said,
Big B or this week's Triple Threat Talk, Idiot of the Week.
I feel so honored of my creation.
We figured that you should join in your creation.
Join all my idiots.
So.
I am Costanza, Lord of the Idiots.
So we want to thank you guys, obviously, each week. We want to thank OVW and everybody else that stands by us and puts up with our tomfoolery.
Stand by me.
Idiot of the week.
Oh, stand by me.
But, so for Triple Threat Talk, guys, this is the Doctor.
This is Postmaster Jones.
I usually go last.
Yeah, and if you want to like us on Facebook, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. We actually lost 2 likes. We're at 98 now.
Oh.
But the rule, so
someone disliked us.
2 people. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk, and you send us any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. So for Triple Threat Talk, this is Big B.
Didn't we already do this again?
No, this is
Postmaster Jones, and that's the Doctor.
Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, before we go, I want to mention one quick thing. DWA Voltage will be on Tuesday. We have tag team matches, a new tag team taking on Wayne's World, Captain Pollution taking on Captain Planet.
Big B.
But it should be good. Obviously, Hardcore Medicine Series and stuff's going on with that, so check out DWA Voltage on Tuesday. And we'll see you next time, guys, for Triple Threat Talk. Take it easy.
Adios.